Hello, everybody, and welcome to Primetime Racing TV. In the booth tonight, Corey Silva and me, Brandon Kreutz, here with the Northeast Racers Great American Modified Tour at the Old Phoenix Raceway.
That is right, Brandon. We bring you race number 5 of the SK Modifieds, the Great American Modified Tour, live at the Phoenix 2008 version. We're currently in qualifying right now. And we currently have Kyle Willis on the provisional pole as we bring up our graphics here and get you ready for some action tonight.
Yeah, so some fairly fast race times being run right now. Evan Black jumps up to the pole now, Corey, with a 28.976.
We do remember seeing Evan Black get a pole, I believe, was it last week at Loudon, but it didn't really fare too well for him, so...
No, he ended up getting involved in something, I think fairly early in the race, Corey, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Where that was a draft track. He said I had talked to him. He said he had a qualifying-esque setup. He did not have a race rail setup in the car, so was not able to keep going there. But he's already off the pole. Jeff Gallup is currently on the pole with a 28.940.
Brad Carr. Oh, look at that. Zach Only jumps up to the front row with a 28.925. Fast times out here, Corey.
Yep, as we kind of give you some information today about Phoenix, what we're racing with in traditional Northeast racer style. 75 degrees, 80-degree track temp, overcast skies. Overcast in the desert, you don't see it too often, but you see it here today.
So it looks like things starting to get settled in qualifying. Guys still turning laps here. Only about 2 minutes left of qualifying, though. 43 of David Elliott just made his laps and pulling it into pit road. We saw him get upside down twice last week, Corey.
Yes, he did. Upside down David Greenslet. I mean, not David Greenslet. He's the points leader. David Elliott, that was. But he hopes to come back with a strong running today. Currently, let's see where he is on the qualifying order right now. David Elliott is in 12th now, so a mid-pack starting position. Still waiting to see James Curl take a Q lap. James Curl, if you remember, has run. We're on race 5. He has run 3 of the 4 races this season. James Curl has run in, and he has won all 3 of them. So he's going for not quite the perfect season because he missed a race, but perfect at his aspect of it.
Absolutely. He has been dominating in this series, Corey, and quite amazing to watch, really.
Yeah, he just... Loudon, he didn't quite take the lead at Loudon until about halfway, but once he got it, he even had the pit strategy right on point 2 and was able to completely just pull away and really not be touched once he got out front.
Absolutely.
So we'll bring you. I can bring you here the points here for put them on screen for you guys. David Greenslet only has a 10-point lead now with the 3 wins so far. James Curl, even though he missed a race, his amazing run, and Greenslet having a little bit of a poor performance last week, only 10 points back. Kyle Bigham 14 back. Kimball 16 back. Brian Town 20 back, and then they're on their 4ths. Can you believe that, Brandon? He's missed a race and he's only 10 points out of the championship lead.
Yeah, with, 3 wins on the season out of the 4 races that he's run thus far, Corey. It's helping him out a little bit.
That is the case, and here we are for the, we're getting on the grid here. And let's bring you today's starting lineup here on Primetime Racing TV. Starting on the pole today is going to be David Greenslet in the 20, Rowdy David Greenslet with Zach Olney to his outside. Jeff Gallup, the 4 machine, in the 3rd position. Brad Carpenter to his outside. Evan Black starting in the 5th position. Kyle Willis in 6th. Dan LaFoe, Dynamite Dan LaFoe, starting in 7th. Brian Hacker in 8th. Ricky Nadeau in 9th. And David Cassidy rounding out your top 10, Brandon.
11th is Brian Town. 12th, David Elliott. 13th, Kyle Bingham. 14th, Ronald Narcombe. 15th, James Curl. 16th, John Minotto. And the rest of the field had not qualified, Corey.
Ed Clark will be the last car, looks like on our grid, I believe, because Broadcaster 1 is the goof who joined the session in the wrong manner. We don't want to spoke to... Yeah,
referring to yourself.
We didn't have to talk about that. So in chat, folks, if any feedback you could give on the stream, please do so. Many of you know how Windows could be. I had a massive Windows update that I had to do, and it completely wiped out every single setting that I had saved to my computer. So I'm starting from scratch here, so if volumes are off, let me know. I'll adjust them on the fly to bring you guys the best race that we can.
So waiting for these guys to roll off grid, Corey. Your pole sitter, David Greenslit, ready to take these guys to the green flag.
Yeah, he's looking to come back from that, I don't want to say poor run, but I almost do. For his standards, he really just, he didn't have it last week, Brandon. He never really even got up there, and then just kind of, if I remember right, just had about a top 10 performance.
Now, New Hampshire is a tough track in general, and a lot of guys tend to struggle there. That's why I think we saw a lot of new faces up front last week, Corey.
We saw a lot of new faces up front, but we still had the same face up front that we always do, that being in James Curl.
Absolutely. So these guys work their way down the backstretch, and this is the old Phoenix, folks. This is the circa 2008 that these guys are running here tonight. So there is no dog leg down there that you can cut through, and it's all grass.
A little bit retro, but it kind of keeps these guys in check a little bit more. They have to race the racetrack more than they would have in that circumstance. But here we go. David Greenslit waits for that pace car to go off, and we're going to get some racing going.
Pace car is off. Green flag in the air here at Phoenix.
Pretty good restart there. Pretty good start there, excuse me, by Olney in the 59. Didn't lose too much spots, but here he comes in turns 1 and 2, trying to stay in the second position, but doesn't know if that's going to happen.
Side by side with...
Into the wall a little bit, I believe I saw.
Oh, they're side by side with Jeff Gallup here, Corey, and going down into turns 3 and 4 now. Who will prevail on exit? They're still side by side going down the front straightaway.
That they are here, and here we come down the front straightaway. Oldie may be able to clear him in 1. I don't know if Gallup's going to give him it. No, he's not. Gallup's going to go for it, but I still think with the runoff 2, I believe we're going to be clear. But nope, what do I know about racing? Here we are side by side down the back straightaway.
Advantage still to the 59. Can he make it happen through turns 3 and 4 here? Still side by side into the corner.
That they are, but you know what this is doing? This is allowing Mr. Greenslit up front to completely get away from these guys. He's out here to a about 7/10 second lead already.
These guys clear each other and get single file once again, but Jeff Gallup looking underneath the 59. Will he dive underneath? No, he's going to stay single file. They don't want Greenslit to get too far away.
So it looks like Olney, we're finally going to get to see what he's capable of in this race. If he can maybe work on that gap that is now about 3/4 of a second. Do you expect the draft to come into play here at all, Brandon?
I think just a little bit with these lower powered engines, Corey. It's going to be almost the same thing that we saw at New Hampshire. Maybe a little bit of drafting coming into play at the end.
All right, trying to find some racing going on here. We're side by side with the 88 of Ricky Nadeau. He's going underneath, I believe, the 22 car. That is David Cassidy. A couple of new names have yet to see in the series so far.
They go side by side into turns 1 and 2.
Whoa, some contact.
These guys stacking up. 77 with a big slide.
A lot of evasive maneuvers going on there. Big check up into 1. Very good job by Kyle Bingham. They're going to be squeezing it 3 wide. That's not a lot of room. Here we are. James Curl, your points leader, the 51. Right smack in the middle of that. David Elliott, that's going to single file out. Great driving to avoid any kind of confrontation with those guys there.
Great driving there, Corey, between all of those guys.
But to note that we have to remember that's James Curl we just said. He is only in the 12th position right now. So James Curl, whether it by design or whether it just be on pace or track conditions, we don't know. He's only outside the top 10, but I'm not going to hold it to him to stay there.
Absolutely, Corey.
As we go back up front to what is a slightly diminishing lead down to about a little under 7/10 of a second is for David Greenslet up here. Going our primetime TV battle graphic, and we can see that David Greenslet actually was about a half-tenth slower that time to Zach Olney, so that gap is closing, and now it's only about a half second.
Is Greenslet trying to save his tires, though? Remember, these guys only get one set of tires for these longer races, Corey. And, you know, maybe if this thing goes all the way green, Greenslet will have better tires than the 59 car.
I did have thoughts about that, but we also have to remember, much to my surprise, this is actually a 100-lap race, so this is a longer race for these guys. Loudon, a similar distance track, we only did 75, I believe, maybe 80, something along those lines, but 100 laps. So I'd be very hard-pressed to see anybody stay out the whole time. I don't even know if it's physically possible on a fuel tank.
I don't know about that, Corey. You have a good point here. Only 75 laps run last week. A lot of guys staying out all the way through that race. We also don't know what tire wear is going to be like here tonight. A little bit rougher of a track surface.
We're going to have to figure that out the hard way, it seems. But here we come. Evan Black under fire from Dynamite De La Foe. Also, Brian Hacker looking to his inside. Evan Black is going back. No pun intended.
Yeah, those guys are side by side going through the dog leg now.
Good choice to ignore that joke.
Prevails.
Back in black. I said back is going black. Yeah, bad joke. We carry on. You know it's a bad joke when you have to explain it. But here comes Hacker. Got a good run off of 4. Evan did not. Is Hacker going to dive it into 1? Yes, he is. And Black is going to yield. No, actually, can't really tell. Ooh, a little bit of a slide job. I thought
almost contact off the corner, Corey. Now the 55 car is going to get a piece of the action and try to go around Evan Black.
I thought Evan Black was yielding the position, but he was not. I think he was maybe trying to set up for an exit there, but he didn't quite get it. And now here comes the 88 of Ricky Nadeau to the inside. So Black is going to lose about 4 positions over the course of 1 lap there. 3 positions.
These guys are side by side, 2 rows back now. Starting to stack up.
Oh, little bit of contact.
Into the wall, hard contact. Flipping down the back straightaways, the 55 car upside down.
Kyle Willis, I believe a couple guys actually drove underneath him there, which is very awkward to say. But let's go back here on Primetime Replay and see what happened.
Huge wreck down the back straightaway, Corey. Massive impact and upside down went the 55 car.
Gonna go up here in our blimp cam here. It looks like he got a little bit loose, and then Brian Hacker in the 5 hit him off the corner. He was not expecting that momentum change, and a little bit of acrobatics going on down the dog leg there. So I believe that's going to take, who was that again? Kyle Willis out of this race. But what we did not get to catch there, I was actually trying to get back to it, was that lead for David Greenslet had evaporated. Zach Olney had shrunk that lead down to about 2/10, so we were about to have a battle for the lead on our hands. Lap 13, where pits are open, and I don't see any takers up front. Not really surprised on that.
I think Evan Black just got...
Ooh, look who we have, James Curl, deciding to come down pit road. Now, did he get? You didn't see him get any damage in that, Brandon? Did you?
I'm looking at it now, Corey. Evan Black with a little bit of front end damage on his race machine. Looking at James Curl. James Curl, I think, got through that.
So that being the case, let's try to see what he's actually doing here. See if we can see either sides of the car getting jacked up. Didn't really see it. I believe that might have just been a fuel stop, but Interesting strategy. Fuel is nothing. There's nothing implemented on fuel that restricts you from how much you can put in. So it's strictly tire. So maybe he's trying to top off, and maybe that'll come into effect later.
Maybe it will. Just trying to make it on this fuel run, Corey. We are 14 laps into this thing, about to go 15 in, and yeah, as we saw, the 59 car was definitely catching the 20 of Greenslit.
As we look at the pace car here, as we keep going. Again, guys, just want to let you know, Primetime Racing TV, I had a little bit of issues here on the broadcast end with a Windows update completely thrown my computer haywire. So if any volume issues, any kind of issues you see with the stream, please let me know. I'll try to see if I can get those taken care of live here. But if not, we'll put them in the bank for next week.
Also, be sure to like and subscribe, everybody. It helps us out a lot and helps the channel grow as a whole. So we appreciate all of our fans that come and watch every week. And, you know, we try to get you guys some good coverage.
We are looking to potentially bring you guys a truck league on Wednesday nights. That is still a tentative deal, but I believe it is going to happen. So more information on that as it comes. But another full-time league likely coming to you, which we're excited to bring.
Absolutely. That should be fun.
Something we didn't get to do last week. We want to thank our sponsor, Air Movement and Fabrications here. Air Movement and Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom designs, custom sides, custom fabrications, repairs, and anything metal. Catch them online at airmovefabs.co.uk and check them out on Facebook. Air Movement and Fabrications is an official partner of Primetime TV. And we did not get to thank them last week, so giving them the shout out today. And as that happens, we double up here, and we're going to get road green in a matter of moments. Interesting to see what does happen here with Olney here. Does he, now that he's right on, oh my god, Corey, get some English out. Now that he's right next to Greenslit here, let's see if he can make something happen, or if he's going to maybe stutter, or let's just have to see. I'm curious. I think he's going to go for it and take the lead in a matter of laps. Want to get him going here, Brandon.
Pace car getting ready to pull off now. So these guys ready to go. Pace car pulls off. Greenslit is on the gas. Green flag back in the air. They stack up a little bit behind them as these guys roll down the front straightaway going into turn one.
You see here, he Olney was not ready for that early start there, and contrary to what my thought was, I thought he was going to be able to hang with him here. He's going to have to fight from behind here, because now he's on the outside. He has Brian Hackert, who was inside, about to lose time back to the fourth position.
Look at the speed from Brad Carpenter in the 31 car, Corey. He is slowly but surely gaining on your leader off this restart.
Greenslit, I believe, so far has still led every single lap, but I believe, yep, Brad Carpenter is looking to change that here. He's in that range where he will be getting some tow here. So, almost a little bit of three wide going on again on the back straightaway there on the dog leg. Hacker, Olney, and LaFoe is LaFoe getting into the action here. Haven't talked about him much yet.
Oh, they're side by side.
Zach Olney, who is, oh, here we come, three wide, Dynamite Dan LaFoe takes it three wide on the dog, a little bit of contact here. Everyone's trying to squeeze and get their place in there. LaFoe backs off, entering three. Might have saw that was not going to work favorably. Still 80 laps to go, so he decides to think better of that for now, but these guys are out to play today.
Brian Hacker was in the middle of a modified sandwich there, Corey, and not exactly the best position that he could have been in.
Not at all, but Olney is able to stay in the third position now, so we'll see what he could do. Now he has about a 6/10 to gain if he wants to get back to Brad Carpenter and a full second to get back to Greenslit.
LaFoe side by side with Hacker off the corner. He clears him. Hacker blocks the 88 going low, and Brad Hacker will only lose one position out of that deal.
Dan LaFoe, Brandon, you must remember, he has had absolutely horrible luck, and I mean horrible luck in the races he's been in. He's a fast guy. He's only had about one good run in Irwindale. He's been in a lot of wrecks that he had nothing to do with, so Dan LaFoe really needs a good run, and it looks good to see him here in the fourth place with a good car so far.
Absolutely. Always managed to find his way towards the wrecks, and almost did it again just a couple laps going three wide, Corey.
Yeah, but that was on his own accord. They're going for that move. He knows he has a good card. He's trying to take advantage of it. But I do see Olney here just checking a little bit out of that lead. It was a second. Now it's 9/10. It looks like Carpenter is kind of stagnated about 4/10 behind Greenslet here.
Don't look now. Here comes Dynamite Dan LaFoe right on the back bumper, the 59.
The 59. Ooh, a little bit of connection issues there. Lost him for a sec, but he's back. But let's go here on the graphic. Primetime battle graphic. It looks like LaFoe had about, excuse me, we're on the wrong car here. LaFoe had about a 10th and a half that lap on Oldie. So LaFoe definitely has a good card. He's right there trying to intimidate, trying to get right to that back bumper, get Oldie to make a mistake. He did not make one that time. Looks like LaFoe did not get a good 3 and 4. He has Hacker to his inside now.
Side by side down the front straightaway. Dan LaFoe into the inside wall. Caution flag is in the air. Bad luck continues for Dan LaFoe.
I wish I didn't say anything, but unfortunately, Dan LaFoe we're going to have to come up with a new nickname for him because he's just dangerous. Not dangerous. I don't know. We'll work on that. But here we come on primetime replay. Off turn 4 here. Looks like Hackers to the inside. I think from the angle I looked at there, LaFoe may have came down a couple feet. What do you think?
He did come down just by about a foot or so and caught the front Nerf bar of Brian Hacker, and it spun him towards the inside wall.
Just, you have to feel that situation. LaFoe, we just had talked about his bad luck streak and how he had a really good car, and you don't like seeing that stuff happen. And I think he's actually, we were going to try to pull an interview, but he's already left the server and left chat, so you can tell obvious frustration from LaFoe.
Brian Hacker actually given the penalty for that wreck as opposed to our evaluation score.
Yeah, perhaps just because he was the only one left in the wreck. So, but regardless here, well, you said Hacker was given the penalty, that was?
Yes.
All right, Hacker did come down pit road, so obviously to yield that penalty he's been given. Nobody else down pit road. Evan Black we see down here, and I believe, who else is down pit road? I believe it's Ronald Narcom down pit road in the 52. Evan Black, as we said, he had a good spot, but he's not really been in race contention. He's been on the back end of the top 10 the majority of this race.
I'm sure he's keeping an eye on his temperatures now as well. He did have some pretty good front end damage from the wreck earlier with the major wreck earlier, I should say.
Let's pull Evan into the booth here and see how his race is going. Do you want to talk to him, Brandon?
Sure thing. Evan Black, Primetime Racing TV, you got a copy?
Yep.
So we see a little bit further towards the back of the pack there. What's going on with your race vehicle?
I got quite a bit of damage from the wreck on lap 12. I went for a little bit of a ride across, I guess there's a bump there where the road course is, and I went for a bit of a ride and that damaged the engine, I think.
Oh, so a little bit low on power there. Do you have all of that damage fixed, or do you still have some time left?
Not yet. Still got about a minute left. I'm trying to save my quick fix for later in the race.
All right. Do you think that if you do end up getting most of this damage fixed, that you could at least get further up towards the pack?
Yeah, I think I've got a top 5 car. It's just I gotta get that damage fixed.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck, and hopefully we'll see you up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as you said, Evan Black has some damage, has a little bit of engine loss there with terms of power, but even to my knowledge there, I didn't realize these guys have quick fixes, as he said.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Which makes me wonder why LaFoe is out of the race, if that is the case, unless he had already accidentally used it. I don't know. These are questions we have.
Possible rage quit too, Corey. He already brought it to his hauler, and he's out of here.
Yeah, because even with in his situation with that kind of serious impact, he was not going to be able to take it back to the pits under his own power. So with the tow, you'd likely still go a lap down even with the quick fix.
Yeah, his engine wasn't smoking or anything, Corey, but his front wheel was kind of not touching the ground anymore, so I don't think he was going to be able to drive it back.
Yeah, so again, LaFoe not having a good run, frustrations. Well, but and they say, as we say in racing, there's always next week. We'll get him then.
So these guys doubled up and ready to go back to the the green flag here, Corey.
Yeah, so what I'm interested to see is Zach Olney is on the inside now, and he's gone, and he's back. But he's going to be able to know exactly where Greenslet's going, so he should get a good start. We'll see what he's made of here as we wait for that pace car to take that turn on pit road, as it does. And Greenslet's on the loud pedal. We're back green, taking lap number 29 here. And Brad Carpenter stayed right with Greenslet. We're going to have a battle here.
Carpenter right on the rear bumper of Greenslet. Unlike any other restart so far today, Corey, he is right there. So is 88 in third place now.
He's got that draft now. He's there. There is no such thing as a lead as we enter turns 3 and 4. Right on the back bumper. Gets a little bit, maybe backs off a little bit, trying to get a good exit off. We'll see if he gets that run off turn 4.
Top 3 under a blanket right now. The 88 maybe looking to pull a move underneath the 31 of Brad Carpenter. Not going to do it. He's going to save his stuff.
Yeah, watch out. Ricky Nadeau, he wants to play. We haven't talked about him. Ricky Nadeau's been kind of at the top 10 in most of these races. We haven't seen him fighting up front. Good to see here. Let's see what he could do with Brad Carpenter.
Top 4 now under a blanket, Corey. The 59 wants to get a piece of this action.
59, Zach Olney. We know he is a fast car. He probably is actually faster than Greenslet still, but it's just a matter of could he actually get up there. Passing does not seem like as hard as it was last week, but by no means I don't think it's easy.
We haven't gotten a really long run so far, Corey. What will these setups do once these tires wear out, I think, is a bigger question if we do get that longer green flag run.
Well, we'll see. We're on board here with Olney to see what his perspective shows, and you can see on the RPM gauge here, it's entering turn 1, about 7,000, and let's see what he goes down to. Only goes down to about maybe 5,500, so there's not much off throttle time here. So there's not much time here to really set a guy up or get a better run off, because you're in the throttle the majority of the lap.
For those not familiar with the SK modifieds or even the Tour modifieds, only 2 gears in these things. You got one to just roll off pit road, and the other is a race gear, Corey. So really not too difficult to drive here, and not too many options with the gearing setups.
Yeah, so kind of almost IROC style, if you want to think of that, for those who remember that old series. All these cars, there is adjustability, there is setups, but on a track like this, it's more about positioning and track position and making the right move than it is anything else. Would you agree?
I do agree with that one. These guys all stacking up single file behind them now. I think this may be part of the draft that we were talking about earlier, Corey. These guys just able to get right up to one another's bumpers.
That they are. So here we come here. Looks like we have Kyle Bingham looking to go to the outside here of, I believe that to be, yes, Zach Olney here. And look who we haven't talked about in a while. James Curl back in the picture here. But we haven't seen someone go to the outside yet, so this is an interesting call by Bingham to try to take that line. But battle for the lead. Here we come. David Greenslet is under fire from Carpenter, who's looking to the inside in turns 1 and 2.
Side by side out of turn number 2, going down the back straightaway. Advantage still to Greenslet, Corey, and the 31 car. No help on the bottom. A little bit of a push from the 88 up high.
Talladega S. We have a draft going on the back straightaway here. That looks like the but as we see that happen, we had a draft. We had Brad Carpenter in position to take the lead, but did not. Oh, Ricky Nadeau.
Ricky Nadeau, yeah.
Bump and run Bingham, give it a push to Brad Carpenter there into turn 2, trying to get Carpenter clear back of second place. Ricky Nadeau.
Into the wall, around goes James Curl.
James Curl around. Caution flag is out. I don't think he made too much contact, but we'll see what happened.
So James Curl, second in points right now, got caught up in that incident as we go to the Primetime Racing TV replay.
So we can see here, Nadeau in the wall. Bingham on the back of Carpenter there, backs off a little bit. It looks like Nadeau got loose and hit the wall, and then only got into the left rear of Curl while they were trying to avoid all of that.
Actually, that was net code, Corey, between Curl and the 59 car. So probably part of his connection issues caused Curl to spin around.
But if that is true, or there's a quick fix, we know he's a fast enough car that he can get right back in there.
Well, James Curl didn't hit anything either, so he should be okay.
Oh, Greenslet with the fake on pit road. The only car to come down up front is Ricky Nadeau, and then we have Curl, Evan Black, and I believe Ronald Narkham at the back of the pack. So these leaders still stay out.
Kind of expected that Nadeau would come down pit road there with the damage that he had. Obviously, he was struggling with his race car anyways.
Yeah, we are getting to that halfway point relatively shortly, so you have to wonder if these guys are going to pit. You don't know when the next caution. It's probably going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, we are about 12 laps away from the halfway mark, Corey, and these guys may be expecting another yellow flag as well. Everyone just still so stacked up, and all it takes is one mistake from someone for, as we saw, for a bigger wreck to happen.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. But we're going to go to a little break here on caution. We're a little commercial break. We have a little bit of time here before the restart, so we'll be right back with you guys.
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is gonna be so fun. And it's gonna be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
So we're back here, folks, on Primetime Racing TV. These guys just taking the one to go now.
Yep, and no pit stop, so these guys still on their initial set of rubber, so we'll have to see here what goes on with tire wear, and let's see who has the better car. Greenslet has led, let's just verify on the graphic here. Has led every single lap in this race, but that doesn't mean it was easy. He has had some fight for that position.
So, guys, ready to go back racing. How long of a run will we get this time? As we will cross the line this time, we will be 10 laps away from the halfway point, Corey.
We will, so we'll have to see this time. Where does Greenslet go? He goes pretty early, and he's going to get a really good jump on this restart. He's going to have 3 car lengths on second position.
Second place is side by side now, 31 and 77. Brad Carpenter, Kyle Bingham, high side and low side. These guys pretty much dead even off the corner, now going into turns 3 and 4 out of the dog leg.
That they are here, and these guys, they need to get they need to get single file, excuse me, because the longer they get away, the less chance they have of fully catching David Greenslet and making a battle for the lead. And I believe, are we going to be clear entering turn 1? I'm not quite, but we may be. Yes, we're clear. Kyle Bingham, P2. We haven't seen him in second position yet, so let's see what he could do with Greenslet.
Well, they're still side by side behind them. A few really fast cars here just stuck up in traffic right now, Corey. As we see the 31 back on the rear bumper of the 77.
Yeah, we do. We also see Zach Olney underneath the 18 car. Brian Town, probably the most frustrated driver currently on track is Zach Olney, as he is probably the fastest car. We saw him nearly taking a battle for the lead with Greenslit, but every time a caution comes out, he doesn't get the best restart, and then he has to regain all of his lost time.
Big slide for the 59 to Zach Only.
Yeah, adding to the frustration now. He got loose, and now he's going to have to gain even, what, 3 or 4 more positions he just lost. Evan Black has passed him. I wonder if Evan Black got that engine damage repaired.
And yes, folks, I do know I'm resounding. I am pronouncing the last name of the 59 car wrong, but for some reason I can't get his last name off my tongue.
Olney, Olney. I believe you're saying Only, but regardless, we know who you're talking about, even if not correct. Evan Black actually making position, going for position here. Looks like Evan Black to the inside of the 22 of Cassidy here. David Cassidy, that is, side by side through 3 and 4. I would have to take it that Evan Black has fully repaired his engine here, because he is a lot faster than he was prior.
Advantage to the 22. Evan Black, a little bit of contact and an immediate apology to the 22 there over the driver radio.
Yeah, a lot of Brandon and I both have on-track experience with Evan Black. Evan Black's not the kind of guy to rough you up on purpose there. So, yeah, if he makes a mistake, he's going to own up for it, as he did there.
Evan Black, actually one of the vehicles that we're partnered with on iRacing, running the logo and almost everything that he runs here. So we do appreciate him doing that for us.
As we jump back up front here, Kyle Bingham doesn't really have much of a lead here on Carpenter. Carpenter looks like he's in trying to find some way around, but is he going to be able to find a way around is the question.
Don't look now, but here comes the 18, Corey, starting to get right to the rear bumper of the 31.
As we watch that battle here, he comes down side by, oh, not quite side by side, but he took a look at least entering turn 1. Is he going to dive it in there? No, he's not. He's going to think better of it and try to wait till the next turn, perhaps.
He definitely tried, Corey, as he slid way up the racetrack, and let's see what he does off the dog leg here going into turns 1 and 2. He lost a lot of momentum off that corner trying to dive it in there.
Yeah, kind of taking a page out of the road racing book there, where even if you think you might have them at the place, if you don't have that fender to his left rear quarter panel, then you should not be diving in there. And he knew that and decided otherwise of that move.
So these guys back up front, Greenslit still holding a pretty comfortable lead up there, but that's not saying that these guys aren't starting to catch him, Corey.
Yeah, well, let's bust out our battle graphic, shall we? Last time by, a 29.13 for Greenslit, a 29.04 for Bingham, so just that hair faster. As we take another lap, we'll see. 29.07 to a 29.09, so that lap, Greenslit had a couple hundredths on him, so about breaking even it seems we are right now.
So these guys still back here in traffic, all single file right now, Corey. Starting to get a little bit more spread out, and I think as these tires start to wear down a little bit, the true setup of the race car starts to come into play. Yeah,
as we get into a long run, an average setup, if you will, could probably hang on for the first third of a run, but you will see the nuances and the improvements of somebody's setup take over as it progresses.
Absolutely. So we see the 31 car starting to fall back now a little bit, all the way to the rear bumper of the 18.
Whoa, into the wall!
Almost collects the 18 there.
Perfect timing on the call there as we watch that. Now all of a sudden Brian Town to the outside of Carpenter here. We'll have to see what Carpenter could do if he... Obviously that was really big impact. I don't know if those Nerf bars are going to save that car from damage.
No, he may have a little bit of wheel damage on that car. Right on the back bumper of the 31 now is the 51 of James Curl, working his way back up to the field after he was involved in the last caution.
James Curl here, your 3-time winner this season. Let's go on board with him. James Curl as he enters turns 1 and 2. Takes a little bit lower of a line, but does not get as good of an exit. Oh, cautions on the speedway.
Let's see if we can find who that is.
I see a car backwards, and that is Ed Clark in the 3.
The 59 and the 8 also involved in that one. I believe it started with the 8 car.
Let's go on our blimp cam here. following Zach Olney, watching Evan Black get loose. Evan Black did, and that got him that got the 59 turned in reaction to watching Evan Black spin, and the 55 just absolutely T-boned, almost Eric Almirola style there, off of turn 2.
Yeah, that wasn't too favorable for those guys. Evan Black saved it. I don't think the 3 of Ed Clark was expecting the 59 to check up like that, and both of them got wrecked and up into the wall. Tough break for both of those guys.
Yeah, something kind of we say sometimes, ARCA breaks almost it looked like there, but Olney, let's just see here if he has a quick fix, because he's smoking, but he is trying to drive around to pit lane, so, but he's not going to pit. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I am still far back. Here we come. I was still watching the replay mode, but here he comes. Evan Black at the entrance of pit road, is he? He must have been waiting for the 59 to go by. So let's watch and see if Olney has a quick fix. He's a fast car, so we want to see if he can get back into this. As we see Olney pull into his pit stall here. Actually, we're still waiting for him. He has a very late pit stall on pit road at the end of the curve here. Let's watch him pull. Does that smoke go away? Yes, it does. Zach Olney with the quick fix. So Zach Olney is going to be right back into this, but he's going to have to gain positions. As my co-commentator stepped out on me and not told me.
No, I'm right here, Corey.
Okay, I was going to say, okay, I'm by myself. Halfway here only. We are, again, this is an extended race for these guys. Looking at my, I've been streaming for about pushing an hour here, and we're only about halfway in this race, so right now, let's just go through a quick field rundown. We have David Greenslet, your leader, has led every single lap in this race thus far. Kyle Bingham in second position. Brian Town in third. Your 3-time winner this season, James Curl, in fourth. Ricky Nadeau is in fifth. David Elliott in sixth. Ronald Narcombe in seventh. Brad Carpenter, who's been up there all day, he's in eighth position. Zach Olney in the ninth position, repairing that car after being involved in that caution. Brian Hacker is in 10th. David Cassidy in 11th. Evan Black had a lot of issues in this race so far, but still has a clean car in the 12th position. And then one lap down is Ed Clark. Kyle Willis, I'm not sure if he is going to get back out after that, like I said, that Eric Almirola-esque impact he had. But he is the last car on the track, so 14 cars still registered in the race. Dan LaFoe has taken it behind the wall, as has Jeff Gallup.
So these guys doubled up and ready to take the restart once again, Corey. We are past the halfway point now, 56 laps in.
But I don't see rain being a call, so this race will go the full distance.
Unless iRacing hasn't told us something.
And we're in the desert, so I really wouldn't expect that. But it's also cloudy in the desert, so anything's possible. But anyways, we speak ridiculousness. David Greenslet has gotten a perfect restart every single time. Really has not had any side-by-side encounter entering turn one. Let's see if that streak continues this time by.
Kyle Willis taking it to the hauler, and he is out of here, Corey.
All right, that leaves 13 cars on track as we go for the high-up cam for this restart, waiting for Greenslet to go. As he does, and as I said, every restart so far, he's had a good restart. That one, Kyle Bingham stayed right with him.
Kyle Bingham side by side with the 18 car now. He clears him, looking to take the lead from Greenslet now.
Bingham got a heck of a run there on the outside. He is going to bump draft him, bump and run Bingham to the back bumper, say that 10 times fast, of David Greenslet here as we enter 3 and 4. Bingham looking to try to get that exit run off, and I believe he's going to get it, but James Curl, watch out, in the third position right here in contention.
Yeah, don't look now. Here comes the 51 of James Curl, wanting to get into this action, but I think he knows better than to try to pull a move too early in this race, Corey.
Are you sure about that?
He goes side by side with Kyle Bingham.
Here we come. The 51, Mr. 3-time, has taken the second position. Watch out, Greenslet, because your best competition, your points rival here in the second position is right in your back bumper.
Greenslet with still a little bit of a lead. Kyle Bingham able to hang with James Curl right now. The 18 pulls right up to the rear bumper of the 77 now.
Let's go watch a little bit of a battle going on here for the sixth position. Ricky Nadeau trying to make a move under the 43 of David Elliott, who has stayed on all four wheels today.
Yeah, David Elliott trying to redeem what he did last week.
Oh,
and,
slid up the track a little bit.
Almost slid up, and a little bit of contact with him and someone else back there. I believe that was the 22 car of David Cassidy.
It did look like he tried to get back into a hole that wasn't quite there, and he had to move up the track and lost a lot of time in doing so. But up front here, Mr. Curl in the 51, what did I call him last week? The Conqueror. James Curl is looking to conquer yet again and take the lead, and he is right on the back bumper of Greenslet to try to make that happen.
Greenslet holding a solid lead all the way through today, though. Easy to say now that he has led the most laps, leading this whole race so far, Corey. James Curl looking to say something about that, though.
Curl has, but I don't quite count out Kyle Bingham. Kyle Bingham is right here, and he's not dropping off these guys, so you have to think maybe he's saving his stuff, or maybe he's just kind of waiting to play later on, because we still do have 38 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, all of these guys unloaded some fast race cars off their haulers today, Corey, and able to all keep up with one another.
That we have. So Curl, whether by intention or whether just by circumstance, hasn't made any moves on Greenslet. He's just been kind of staying in line. Now, I don't know if he's kind of intentionally kind of just saving up stuff there, or if maybe they're just too even, but we'll have to see that as the run progresses.
Coming down the front straightaway now, David Greenslet still holding about the same lead. I believe these guys are running almost identical lap times. James Curl dives it in hard into turn number 1.
We'll pull up our graphic from the last time by, a 29.05 to a 29.06. So basically, as you said, identical lap times for first and second position. And
James Curl right on the back bumper of Greenslet now.
And here we come side by side. Looks like Greenslet might have clipped the apron there, lost some momentum. He's going to go to the outside, does Curl. Here we come, side by side for the lead, but the battle is on the outside this time by.
James Curl drifts all the way up the racetrack. I'm sure he didn't want to do that, and he loses some
Or
momentum.
did he? Because he got a heck of a run off turn 2, and he's going to...
I stand corrected after that one, Corey. That was a heck of a run off the corner. They're still side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Greenslet clears him.
Great racing going on here. Here he come, over under, going to the inside lane here. Here he come.
The crossover move by James Curl going into turns 1 and 2 now. Now Greenslet clears them once again. Will Curl have anything for him on exit?
Not quite sure. It does not look it, but here comes Bingham. Bingham right to the back bumper. That name is going to cause me a heck of a problem on my tongue. But we have a three-way battle right under a blanket here. 1, 2, 3. And Brian Town is not too far back and forth.
Yeah, these guys all running a freight train on the field right now, the top 4 that is, and all of them under a blanket right now. The 18 now right up to the back bumper of the 77.
Something I've noticed, and I believe you've noticed it too, is that high line in 1 and 2, while they lose a lot of time in the center, they are just getting almost NOS-style boost on the back straightaway there. So that's something we really have to take note of when a guy goes high in 1 and 2. It may not be for the, it may not be because he screwed up. It's probably intentional.
The 18 of Brian Town wanted to go side by side with the 77 of Bingham, but he kind of lost momentum at the corner, and he went for a big slide off of turn number 2.
That he is, so that 4-car battle has turned back into a 3-car battle, but he's not too far back, so Mr. Greenslet still has led all 67 laps of this race, but he's going to have to fight really hard if he wants to run a perfect race, because Mr. Curl here, he's hungry.
Yes, he is looking to sweep the wins in every race that he's been in so far is James Curl, and he's trying to look underneath the 20 of Greenslet now.
I saw Kyle Bingham run a little bit higher line in 1 and 2 there, and he didn't quite get as good of a run off, but he did get a little bit of a run off, and he actually had to back off there in the center of 3 and 4 to avoid hitting Curl.
Side by side goes James Curl with David Greenslet. Can Curl complete the pass this time, or will Greenslet have the advantage on the high
I
side?
believe the high side is going to prevail here, and I think Bingham is actually going to look to the outside of Curl here. Yes, he is. Curl went for the lead, and he may lose second, but oh, here comes Brian Town. We're on a pace lap here for the lead here at Phoenix.
They're side by side, 2 rows back, top 4, all under a blanket. Great racing here at Phoenix so far.
3 wide.
3 wide off of turn 4.
That time by, give it to Curl at the line, so the perfect race has been eliminated, but by no means is it over because Greenslet still has that preferred line off 1 and 2 on the outside lane. Or is it
Kyle
preferred?
Bingham right on the rear bumper of James Curl, getting a little bit of drafting like we were saying earlier, Corey. They both want by the leader, David Greenslet.
Greenslet is going to be back to second, and he may be back to third, but Bingham has a run. Bump and run Bingham. He gave the bumper to Curl there in the center of the turn, and Greenslet's going to fall back. Didn't quite see what happened to him.
Brian Town coming underneath the 77 of Bingham. Can he take the 3rd position over?
Town got loose, very loose. Good save there to keep all 4 wheels going straight there, but it's going to cost him a lot of time, and he's going to drop back to the 5th position as he was just going for second.
Kyle Bingham in the 77 back up front now, still hanging with the 51 of James Curl. Kyle Bingham may have something to say about James Curl winning another race here in Northeast Racers.
He may, as we have David Greenslet, your points leader, in the 3rd position. Now he's back in traffic, and now he has Brad Carpenter going under him. So David Greenslet, now that he's lost the lead, it looks like he may be dropping back a lot farther, but we have to see. But as you said, we can't get our eyes off the lead because Kyle Bingham, he is not just going to let James Curl go off and get his 4th win of the season without a fight. And he's going to get a good run off forward. I believe we're going to be side by side.
Not quite yet, Corey. 77
Oh, is he going to dive? Is he going to dive? He's going to dive, follow him into that turn, and he's going to make himself be side by side, but he's not going to get a run on exit.
No, the high side prevails once again. I think if he's going to dive in there, he's got to do it towards the high side. But Curl knows where he has to defend right now, Corey. He's running almost up into that 2nd line on entrance.
Yeah, Brandon, that outside in 1 and 2 is where it's at. The inside, it seems like you have to be on the inside in 3 and 4, though. But Bingham is going to have to regroup himself and try to regain if he is going to make a move to see if he is actually faster, because it could be the draft. Oh, he just surged there in the center if you saw that, but I don't know if that's going to give him that run on exit. It looks like he may be driving in deeper, and Curl is getting off exit better.
Again, Corey, this is where we start to see the setups of the cars really play into favor of some of these drivers. Looks like James Curl has the advantage over Bingham, but don't count Bingham out. If James Curl gets loose at all, Bingham will be right there to strike.
Yeah, the lead is less than 0.2 of a second, so and here we come. He's really driving into 1 and 2 deep, and he didn't actually lose too much ground off of 2 right there. So he's gonna actually, as you can see on the ticker here, he lost about a half a tenth, down the back straightaway.
I think if Bingham wants to get anything done, he'll have to back up his corners like he did that time, and he got a little bit better of a run off the corner towards James Curl.
There he is right there. And one thing we do have to point out, and it may just be our ignorance of these cars here, a couple of these drivers have yet to come to pit road, and this is a 100-lap race, so I don't know the mileage on these guys, but I don't know if fuel is going to come into play at all. I would have to imagine they would know better, so I would have to imagine not, but I'm still curious.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either on that one, Corey. I do know that these guys are now starting to drive these things hard as we come into, like, I don't know, closing fifth, what is it, like almost like just past 25 laps to go, so.
Yeah, so 20 laps in, 20 laps to go in this race approximately. I can't imagine any of these guys having not paid attention to know, but 100 laps, you figure in an Xfinity car, NASCAR Winston Cup. I'm old. They could only go about 85 to 90 laps here at Phoenix, but those cars have a lot more horsepower. Winston Cup.
Yeah, so Bingham takes the higher line that time and gets a run off the corner towards James Curl. He is trying to get to the rear bumper of the 51 car.
He's there, and you could tell, I think at this point, he's experimenting with lines to try to see where he's going to get that run. He looks like he held identical pace there through 3 and 4. Let's go on board here with Bingham and kind of watch his fight for the lead as it happens here.
I think Bingham likes where he's running now. Now Curl experimenting with that same line he saw that Bingham in the 77 was getting those huge surges off the corner.
Yeah, so down the back straightaway, it looks like Curl pulls just a little bit, but Bingham is just driving in deeper. Let's see who gets the better run off of 4. It looks like it's going to go to Bingham because I think Curl hit the apron there a little bit and drifted up just a tick. But 1 and 2, this is where the money is. Right to the back bumper. Looks like looking to the high side is Bingham. And that lead is evaporated. Here we come into 3 and 4. Kyle Bingham takes that little bit of a higher run. He's going to try to get that low run off the exit and get a good run down the front straightaway. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I think it's going to happen.
Look at how much he can move that race car, Corey, going into the corner and still make it stick.
But one thing we have to note, Brandon, what is Kyle Bingham's nickname?
Bump and run, Bingham getting right close to the 51 of James Curl.
So while we are in 20 laps to go, Kyle Bingham, I don't know if he's going to be able to stay. Is tire wear going to come in? Is Curl going to pull away? Is he going to take the lead? But regardless, here it is. Is Bingham going to go to his name? And
he ducks to the inside, Corey.
We have
side by side into turn number 1.
Here we come. We're completely side by side. A little bit loose there. He can't back off too much. He can't get loose and lose too much time. He's going to lose about a half second now because of that maneuver.
James Curl prevails on the high side once again. I think if a pass is going to be done, like I said earlier, Corey, it'll have to be done on the high side. The low groove just isn't good for side-by-side racing as it was earlier in this race.
That is true. The outside is where it's at, but right now Kyle Bingham, who is right there, he's going to have to gain a half second now, 4/10-ish, to get right back into it, and it's going to be a matter of, let's see if he can do it, because there's only 18 more circuits around this Phoenix International Raceway.
So Bingham lost some time there trying to pull that move underneath James Curl. I think that was probably going to be one of his only opportunities, though, Corey, and he took the risk.
So while the battle for the lead is settled down, let's kind of go back in the pack here. We see Brian Hacker in the 7th position, trying to get by Ricky Nadeau, in the 88 machine here. Getting a good run off of turn 2 as Nadeau gets on the high side. We have a side-by-side battle. Again, this is for your 6th position here.
Yeah, side by side for 6th place, going down into turns number 3 and 4. 5 down on the bottom of Hacker and Nadeau up in the 88 up top, and Hacker clears him for the position.
That he does. So every position counts, even if it's not for the lead. Every position counts here. Your top 5: James Curl, Kyle Bingham, Brad Carpenter, David Greenslet, and Brian Town here. As we go back to your battle in the top 5. Brad Carpenter is sole possession of the 3rd position. David Greenslet has dropped back and is running in the 4th position. David Greenslet, if you remember, has led 68 laps today, but where it stands now, it doesn't look like he's going to be winning this race.
No, like I said, Corey, and it's come up a lot in this race so far. As the run goes on, the true setup that these guys have on these vehicles will prevail as the tires start to wear down a little bit.
All right, let's bring up our battle graphic yet again. Curl a 29.15 to a 29.13 for Bingham, so 2/100ths of a second faster, but 2/100ths is not going to gain a half second of interval.
No, but as he gets some of these runs off the corners that he's getting, Corey, all it will take is one mistake from James Curl as Kyle Bingham is catching him slowly but surely.
That last lap, Bingham had 1/10 of a second on Curl, so now that half second lead is only 3/10 now, 3.5
Kyle Bingham running the higher line on entrance, trying to get that run on exit, Corey, and seems to be working out for him a little bit as of right now.
It does seem, and here we come another time by. A 10th faster is Bingham, so Bingham is faster. I'm having to believe here that he's going to have to live up to his name if he's going to pass, where that low side is not working. I think he might have to use the chrome horn or the Nerf bar, if we will, on these modifieds to get by.
Yeah, that's if he can catch him within these last few laps here. As he pushes it, I don't know what these guys have left on their tires at this point. But he is gaining on James Curl. He is gaining on your leader, and I'd imagine James Curl would be trying to push it right now if he isn't already to try to hold that lead.
Yeah, so the lead, what was a half second at one point into the twos, but is now about 3/10 of a second, between 3 and 4/10. Bingham, excuse me, he's been getting through 1 and 2 really well. James Curl, did he just scrape the wall a little bit?
I don't think so, Corey.
I saw some sparks coming up there, but could have
maybe he touched his nerf bar a little bit.
Yeah, but that lead,
It's really hard to see over on that side of the car from the driver's pit.
But 1 and 2, Curl actually got through 1 and 2 a lot better that time. And that lead is back up to over 4/10 of a second, pushing a half second now.
James Curl just hit the turbo button and off he was, trying to hold the lead that he had over Kyle Bingham in 77.
They basically seem to this point where one of them has a good lap, the other has a good lap. One of them, it's not really seeming to show a consistent trend of someone pulling away or someone closing. But as I say that, Curl got a really good run. Excuse me, Bingham got a really good run off of 2 and gained a 1/10 and a half.
James Curl running a much lower line on entrance in 77.
Oh, here we go. We have a race. That gap has evaporated with 10 laps to go at the Phoenix International Raceway. You're watching Primetime Racing TV's coverage of the Northeast Racers of the Great American Modified Tour. I'm Corey Silva with Brandon Kreutz. The lead is absolutely evaporated. We're going to have a battle for the win here on our hands.
Kyle Bingham getting right to the rear bumper. I was going to say earlier, James Curl running a much lower line on entrance than Kyle Bingham, and that may be affecting, this closing gap here, Corey. And as we see, Kyle Bingham got right to the rear bumper of the 51 now.
On board with Bingham here as we come through 1 and 2. He's running that higher line, and every time we've seen that, it has led to a great run down the back straightaway. Let's see if that trend prevails itself. I don't quite see it that time, but he didn't lose any by any stretch.
So James Curl running the same line as Bingham now, trying to hold that lead and just trying all he can to defend that lead that he has now. But 77 right in the 51's draft.
Bingham, who was better in turns 1 and 2, seems to actually be better in 3 and 4 now from what I could tell. But here we come, a lap car is coming into play. I'm hoping he gets out of the way to allow these leaders to go at it. I'm sure he will.
Coming into turns 3 and 4 now, Bingham with a higher line once again. Can he get a run on exit? And he does, just a little bit.
That was Ronald Narcom in the 52. He went out of the way into the pits, let the leaders go at it. Gentleman like of him, but that battle for the lead is still shaping up. There seems to be like a 1 car length bubble that Bingham has not been able to break, but he's going to have to break it because there's only 6 laps to go.
James Curl once again trying to hit the turbo, but the tires just won't allow him to go any faster, and I'm sure it's the same situation for the 77 of Kyle Bingham.
Bingham is still working on that late apex. He's running that higher entry and then trying to get that straight run off, and it is working. But, oh, here he comes. He got a good surge through the middle of the turn there. Let's see if he loses it on exit or if he is able to hold that position. He is able to hold it, and it looks like he did gain just a little bit as we're going to come to 4 laps to go this time by, folks.
Yeah, coming through turns 3 and 4 now. Bingham still holding a solid position here in the second place, right in the 51's draft. He just can't get right up to his bumper like he'd like to.
He's really charging the entrance of 1 and 2, and he did get back to his bumper that time by, but can he hold it off exit? When you charge at the corner, a lot of times you lose it, but he held it. He's right there. He's within 2 to 3 feet, and we're coming to 3 to go. Bump and run Bingham. Will he live to his name? Will he get by cleanly? Will he get by at all? These are the things we'll find out in the next 90 seconds.
Now, I'm hoping he learned from his mistakes last time, Corey. He cannot dive it in low. If anything, he has to go to the high side.
And it looks like Curl went for the block up to the high side, but I think he's still going to have a run regardless. The 77 is there. What's he going to do with it? He's giving up the bump draft down the back straightaway. We're entering turn 3. What's going to happen? Bump and run Bingham. We both have the same thought in mind, but he goes to the high side. He's going to get that run off of turn number 4. He's going to have a run to the inside. Here we come. Down the front straightaway. He does not have enough, but he's right there. Is he going to use the bumper? A little bit of contact, pushes him up the track, gets that run to the inside. Not quite there, and he gets loose. That
77 gets really loose, but able to hold some of that position. Unless Curl makes a mistake like that, I think the victory is going to go to the 51.
That was it. That was his move, and he made it about a lap too soon. Unless something happens, We're going to take the white flag here. Ronald Narkham, lap car in the way. I don't think it's going to really cause any kind of headache, but here we come here. James Curl, the conqueror, James Curl. Kyle Bingham absolutely dove it there. He gained a lot of lead back, but let's see. It's not over. He's close enough. It's not over yet, guys.
He got a huge run thanks to the lap car there on James Curl right there.
Bump and run Bingham. He gave it a shot.
He tried to go for it, but the victory is going to go to the 51 of James Curl once again at Phoenix International Raceway.
He went for it. He tried living up to his name. He went for it. We give congratulations to James Curl. We give a really good salute to Kyle Bingham there. He made it a race. He got loose a couple times, but he got right back at it, and we have to give him salute. That was a heck of a race. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Absolutely. That was awesome racing there from those guys, Corey.
All right, we're going to go catch our breaths here after that, go to a quick commercial, get you guys back here with the interviews of your top three, and talk about that amazing finish we had here at Phoenix. Be right back with you.
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is going to be so fun. And it's going to be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
And we're back here on Primetime TV. We've caught our breaths, and we're going to bring some guys into the booth here. Let's start at the bottom of the podium with Brad Carpenter in the 31. You want to drag him in here with us, Brandon?
Brad Carpenter, Primetime Racing TV, you got a copy.
I gotcha.
Well, you come home with a solid third place finish today. What was your car like out there, and what was the racing like?
My car was pretty good at the end. I just kept touching the wall, and it's a momentum track, and I kind of lost it and just couldn't catch the top two.
Well, we saw a lot of people sliding around out there, and looked like a very loose racetrack. What was the racing surface out there like today? Obviously, this is the old Phoenix.
Yeah, I know the guys in front of me and David behind me were getting loose, but I was pretty good. Again, it was just driver error, and I kept touching the wall, and it just cost me tenths of a second each time.
Lastly, I'm really curious, as a lot of these guys didn't pit for tires or anything, what was tire wear like from the start of the race all the way up to the end?
Well, I took 4, and it helped out a ton, but by the end of the race, again, it just, I don't know that it was much better, but again, my car was good at the end. I wasn't loose at all, so it was, I felt good, but again, it's just driver error.
All right, Brad. Well, a solid third place finish for you today. Anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mark Logan and Ed Clark and Team Wolfpack for just all the help and everything that they do with the setups. Thank you, guys.
All right, awesome, Brad. Congratulations on your podium finish.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to drag in our second place finisher, Kyle Bingham. Kyle Bingham, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, you made it interesting. You got an absolutely amazing battle there with James Curl. Kind of talk about how it was passing out there today, and just kind of how those last 20 laps or so phased out for you.
Them last 20 laps were real tough. I mean, as you guys could see, it got real loose. Everyone was pretty much getting loose. I didn't take any tires that race. I, set this whole setup for a very long run, so I didn't have to pit, and I could go out there and get some track position and just have a little bit of grip at the end. And that battle was, was a great battle. I think I had just a little bit better car than James, but I just could not find a way around him. I tried on the bottom a couple times and just got real loose and tried to correct it without taking him out. I wanted to pass him clean there. And last lap out of turn 4, I tried to get to his bumper. I mean, I was inches away from his bumper, maybe centimeters, I don't know, but I just couldn't quite get to him.
Yeah, we were told your nickname's Bump and Run Bingham, so we were waiting to see if that was going to actually be checked out there. But just kind of talk about how it played out there. It looked like if you ran the outside on 1 and 2, you really got a good rundown exit off down the back straightaway. Was that really the case? Because it looked like a lot of guys were trying it, and it made it interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think the groove moved up a lane, maybe possibly even a lane and a half, and I kept finding grip. I mean, I don't know if you guys could see it or not, but I was getting really big runs off of 4. For whatever reason, my setup was just really shooting me off of 4, and I was getting a great run down the backstretch. And I wasn't so good off 1 and 2. Once I started to move higher up in 1 and 2 later in the race, it was really benefiting me. I still had just a little bit of push in the front in 1 and 2, but I was giving it all I had.
Yeah, you were an A-plus effort, man. That was great to watch. So anyone you want to give a shout-out to for your second place here at Phoenix?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to thank David for, David Greenstead for putting on the league and, everyone who helps out me, Dan LaFoe, James, and everyone involved. And it's been a great league. I've been with David since the beginning. David and I are pretty good friends, and we live pretty close. And it was just, it's just been an all-out blast. And just thank everyone who shows up every week to put on a good show.
Yeah,
and thank you guys for broadcasting.
Yeah, 10-4, brother. Congrats again on your finish.
Thank you.
All right, Brandon, so now let's bring in your 4-time winner here in the series, James Curl.
James Curl, Primetime Racing TV, you got a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, what else is there to say? You got 4 wins now, and the only one that you don't have is the race that you missed. So, I mean, we know that your car was fast. How did it handle? What was tire wear like? We saw a couple guys, getting squirrely out there. What were you feeling out there?
Definitely the squirrely part. The only thing I can think is that the tires that I took at lap 40 were the reason I won. Kyle didn't take any. I don't think anybody really took any. But man, I was loose out there. I really was just holding on for dear life the last probably 25 laps. I was trying to get out of the bottom lane and 1 and 2 as much as possible because every time I went down there, it would just really, I'd have to really wiggle up the track and use all the racing surface I had. We entered a little higher, we don't have all the black down there, so all the rubber's not there. It's not as loose, but yeah, I think that's the only reason I was able to hold off Kyle there. I mean, he was coming and just used up my stuff too quick. I just that's all I can really say. I mean, he should have won that. He had the better car at the end. He had the better long run car.
Well, you were only 10 points back from the points lead going into tonight, even after missing that one race. So you won this one. How does it feel to be in contention for a championship this season?
It feels really good to be able to make a comeback like that. I had a little misfortune. I thought it was gonna be a little tougher race here because I got involved in an incident a little early on and had to go in and get some repairs. I didn't know if that was going to be detrimental to us, but thankfully it wasn't. We still got a decent finish. Me and David finished first and fourth, and Dan got caught in an incident, wasn't able to come back out. So just good effort by us. We're coming out here every week and putting effort into these setups. So trying our best.
All right. Well, is there anyone else that you'd like to give a shout out to while we got you?
Yeah, OJ Dompier. We kind of split teams a little bit here, and it's just me, David, Dan, and OJ Dampier now. So thankful for him for making the paints. We have all new paints, me, Dan, and David, for these races and for all of our cars. So it's pretty cool to have new colors rolling in. Maybe not so much new for me because I'm still rocking the red, but we got our nicknames on the car, like the Conquer you guys started calling me last week. So I got that labeled on the car so everybody can see it.
Well, that's awesome, James, and congratulations once again on your victory.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and one more person I want to talk to today, Brandon, is the 20 David Greensley, your points leader. So I'm going to drag him in really quick. David Greensley, you got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. We wanted to talk to you as you led the majority of this race, 68 laps, and almost in Kyle Busch fashion, dominate the race and didn't quite take home the race. So talk about how your run was in terms of tire wear and your positioning on track and how it phased out for you.
I think I went and burned off the tires way too early. I know a lot of guys didn't take tires during the race. I didn't want to lose the track position, so that's why I stayed out. But I was thinking with 30 to go, if we would have had a caution, I definitely would have took tires because I was so loose. I was just hanging on.
Yeah, I feel bad, man. You're taking the Rowdy nickname a little too far with these lack thereof victories, but you had a 10-point lead going in. It looks like Curl's going to cut into that. So how are you feeling with the championship picture now that James Curl is just kind of on the roll he's on?
I mean, it's going to be tight. Next week, I believe we're at South Boston, so that's going to be tough for him to come from the back, especially if we have a 20-car field.
Yeah, 10-4. So anyone you want to give a shout-out to while we have you out of here?
I mean, Accelerated Motorsports, new team that we just formed there with James and Dan and OJ. Without their help, I wouldn't be able to run up front like I did tonight. They're real good with the setups. OJ spent 2 days painting cars for us, so it's just a fun group of guys to run with.
Yeah, 10-4, brother. So congrats on a good, solid top 5 run here today, and we'll catch you next week at South Boston.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Thank you. So, Brandon, let's go here and wrap up the broadcast and go over your final running order today at the Phoenix International Raceway. With your victory for a 4th time in 5 races is the 51 car of James Curl. Kyle Bigham in 2nd with an amazing battle, but coming up just a tiny bit short. Brad Carpenter 3rd. David Greensley, the one we talked to, your points leader, led the majority of this race, but suffers a 4th place finish. Brian Hacker at 5th. Ricky Dedew in 6th. Brian Tount in 7th. Ed Clark in 8th. Zach Olney up there for the good portion of the front of the race, but suffers a 9th place finish. David Cassidy in 10th. Brandon.
David Elliott in 11th. Then it's Ronald Narcombe, Evan Black, Kyle Willis, Dan LaFoe, Jeff Gallup, John Minetto, and Mark Logan rounding out the field. A couple of those guys haven't logged any laps tonight.
Like the broadcaster. But we want to thank you here on Primetime Racing TV. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. We're bringing more content, more series, more leagues here to you. We need the support. We'd love to have more people following us week to week. Want to give another quick shout out to our sponsor, Air Movement and Fabrications Limited. They do a lot for us as a prime partner here on Primetime Racing TV. Anything you want to say, Brandon?
Yeah, another quick shout out to Kurtz Custom Graphics. I am the owner of that one, so I don't like to really advertise myself too much on this channel, but we are moving into some real world stuff. So if you're a real world racer looking for any designs done, we are available.
Roots Custom Graphics, that is. Try to get logo on screen there. Wasn't really ready for that one. But again, thank you for watching the Northeast Racers here at the Phoenix International Raceway on Primetime Racing TV. I'm Corey Silva.
And I'm Brandon Cruz.
And we will catch you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.